I really like about looking at coming to rest in presence through the conditioning that arises while we are in the world and while we are relational is that it's very immediate. The moment you are in the world, the moment you are relational, you immediately know where you are at. So there is no denial, right? You know, we can think whatever we want, we can have wonderful, powerful experiences of presence, you know, we can have wonderful, quiet, peaceful meditation, but the moment you are in the world, the moment you are relational, you're going to experience, you're going to know where you are really at. What I also like about this is that oftentimes when you are in the world and when you are relational, there is a part of our conditioning that arises that doesn't show up otherwise. So you can be alone and you can just say, I'm fine, everything is fine, and everything is going okay. But the moment you engage again, the moment you are in the world, the moment you are relational, there's going to be a part of your conditioning that is going to show up. And now you're going to say, wow, I'm not okay, or this is not okay, or I was okay when I was alone, right? Very rich, you know, this is very, very rich to be able to inquire into that. What we also often hear is, I'm sure you heard that, there is no other. And of course, that is true in presence, because everything arises here. So there is no other as in a separate other, separate object, right? We can also say, because the sense of I is transitory, it's just another object that arises here. So there's no solidity to it. You know, we believe there is, but there really isn't, right? So if that sense of I is not solid, you know, if there's no I, there is no other, right? However, living in the world, living in the body, you know, when we talk about embodiment, they are the realities of the nervous system here that we are dealing with. And of course, then there is another or other nervous systems as well, right? And the moment we realize that the other, you know, the other nervous system that arises in presence is just like you yourself, right? Of course, there's some differences, a little different conditioning, a little different desires or this or that, right? But in general, really, once we realize this is just like yourself, right? It's often difficult to come out of that projection relationally. But once you realize that, you know, once you realize it's not about the other, you know, it's always about being here, right? So that opens a very powerful door to inquiry. And I'm going to be speaking more about this coming Sunday. And also, you know, there will be time for questions and for practice together. So I hope to see you there.